that's an ideal, but I don't think ideal will work at this point in time. So let's move as close as we can, but we've got to take care of the problem that is there right now and gradually move the direction where it ought to be.
Okay, and so you kind of hit me, I think you answered my question a little bit. Well, two of the things that I worry most about is, are we going to be able to buy across state lines?
Yes.
Okay. So I think that alone will drive prices down, or at least give people more options. And then secondly, because let's face it, young people don't need to go to the doctor. They just don't. And so it's really those packages that are for catastrophic. I'm not going to worry about deductibles, and I'm not going to worry about going to the doctor. I just want something to cover me in case I'm in an accident as a young person, because that's what scares me. I'm not really worried about health so much.
They're immortal.
Yeah, they're immortal. Yeah. So am I to understand that, Tim, that we'll be able to get, young people will be able to buy a health package that may have huge deductibles and is really just for catastrophic?
Yeah, our whole approach to the Better Way plan is to make more competition and more choice and let the doctor and the patient decide what they need. And so that says if you're a young person, healthy, you're single, most likely the only thing you need is catastrophic. And that will be the decision you make, and that's the purchase you'll have. If you're married now and you have a spouse and you have the likelihood of a new bambino coming along, then you better do the responsible thing and get some additional coverage that would cover maternity also. But that'll be choices, and you can custom fit it to what you need. And that will be our approach. That was a Better Way plan, and we hope that the Republicans can stand together on that and make sure that takes place.
Okay, so Tim, you got some other cost-saving measures you guys have been working on and been passing. You guys have actually been kind of busy, and a lot of people want to yell at Ryan and say, you're not doing enough, but you guys are actually saving some money. Can you go ahead and just give us a recap?
Oh, man, I won't be able to get through all of them. It was about 16 different CRAs, congressional
Good, I'm not the only one that happens to.
Congressional Review, right?
Congressional Review Act, yeah. I wanted somebody to say the Department of Energy. Congressional Review Act resolutions that simply what they do is say, in relationship to a regulation or rule that has been put through in a period of time about 60 days prior to this president going out of office, we can go back and by a simple majority vote in both houses, we can rescind those rules. I had a resolution I passed last week. It was one I sponsored that said departments like EPA, you can't lobby using taxpayer dollars to help get approval for a rule or regulation that you're putting forward.
Ooh, nice.
And they got caught on the waters of the U.S. where they used an approach, thunderclap. You probably know about that, where that rolls together several social media tools, throws it out all at once, massive reach that it goes, and they didn't identify themselves as being the EPA putting this information out. It was extremely biased. It was all positive about the waters of the U.S., didn't give any negatives or any fair and balanced approach to it, and then they took that information, the responses to that, and made it appear like everybody was supportive of waters of the U.S.
Wow.
and passed it.
Yeah, that's community organizing at its best. I can see right through where that came from.
Thankfully, Senator Inhofe caught it and called on the GAO to do a study. The GAO came back and said, you absolutely broke the law in what you did.
Are we throwing the EPA in jail?
Well, I wish we could, but we've got to look at that too. Find means by which we can
throw the EPA in jail.
We can automatically punish either the agency or the individuals involved with it. I would tend to think I'd rather look at a 10% across the board cut in the department that does this type of thing. Some percentage that would get the leadership of the department to get on their staff if that's the problem and say, don't ever do that again.
That would be like a fine?
Yeah, so, Tim, let me, in a similar vein then, we heard yesterday and the day before the DOJ's slush fund. Are you guys going to be able to take any action on that, or are we going to have to wait for that to come out of the executive branch to handle that?
Well, primarily, I mean, we'll do oversight hearings on that. But it comes down to the responsibility is there in the executive branch. The president, that's where the buck stops. And this president, so far, I believe that he's going to look for waste, fraud, and abuse, slush funds that are used for select purposes, not necessarily for the purposes intended. We know that's all over the place. And we haven't had a president that would really barrel in on getting control of what's going on in these departments. My GONE Act that I passed this past year, and the president signed, thankfully, was a bill that said there are multiple millions of dollars in grants and grant programs that either have gone out of date because there's no money left in the grant program, or there's plenty of money but nobody's using it, and so you've got administrative costs that are in it. These were dollars that either should be used for some other important purpose or given back to the taxpayers, and we were successful in getting that through. The REINS Act that we passed, and the president will sign it as soon as he gets it from the Senate, that says that any rule or regulation that costs $100 million or more has to go back after approval by the agency or the department, has to go back to Congress for final approval.
Wow, very good.
So those are things that are starting to take back Article I powers of Congress.
Yep.
And though some of my colleagues aren't happy about it because that means they can't blame it on a department, the buck will stop at us if we let this regulation go through. Yet I think that will also put a little bit of a burden on us to think more carefully before we just simply say, let's pass this law and then let the bureaucracy put rules in place how to carry it out.
Yeah. Now, I know, Tim, you get to speak to Paul Ryan fairly often, right?
Yeah.
And so what is the general mood? I know Paul gets bashed, even by me sometimes, on social media. What is the general mood? I mean, let's just take one overall look at D.C. right now. Between the embedded bureaucrats that are obviously still loyal to Obama and the nonsense being spread by the media. What's the flavor in Washington? Are you guys worried? Are you positive? Are you optimistic? Is the negativity so palpable that you're worried about it? What's the general mood?
No, I think on the Republican side it's very optimistic. We certainly have a little bit of tension from disagreements that go on, and like I said, that comes from being independents. We're not lemmings,
right?
But no, it's very positive. Paul is extremely excited about working with Trump. They meet at least weekly, if not several times during the week, and he feels very good about the direction it's going. And Trump has been very close in working with Paul Ryan, and so I think things are moving forward.
That's good to hear.
Good. Well, Tim, thank you so much. We'll look forward to talking to you again next month. And if you got something important, you're always welcome to come back sooner.
Great. Have a great rest of the weekend.
Thank you, Congressman.
Thank you, sir.
Bye-bye. And until next week, go to thedailydrift.com, folks. I put that work out there for you to look at, spread it around on social media, and get involved. That's all I can say to you. Get involved.
Yep.
Take care. We'll see you next week.